Work. A lot of work. When you're watching TV or you're, looking at Instagram or you're, going out for dinner on a date and you go to a movie, I'm not doing that. I'm reading a book. I'm getting ready for a podcast. I'm writing something. I'm preparing for something. I'm talking to a client. I'm designing something. I'm thinking about a new supplement. Like it's just kind of all the time. And so a guy asked me the other day, are you working more now than you were when you were in the SEAL teams? And the answer is 100%. Yes, I'm working harder now. I should say I'm working more because I'm working more time. No weekends. No weekends, no evenings really. Luckily for me, I like what I do.
I was going to say, so would you even want that? Would you want to spend an afternoon on the couch watching Netflix? Is that something after a very long time of driving discipline? Is that a desire that you have any longer?
To sit on the couch and watch Netflix?
Yeah.
I mean, that's not super, I'm not super stoked on that.
Yeah, that's my point.
Yeah.
You've managed to align what you want and what you want to want. They're now sitting on top of each other, right?
Yeah, and I also don't do a lot of what I don't want to do. And my partner at Echelon Front, Leif Babin, pointed this out to me like a year ago. He said, you're really good. He was doing some stuff that he didn't want to be doing. And, whether it was administrative stuff, and, he said, I've got to do this and I've got to do this. I said, why are you doing that? And he said, well, what do you mean? I said, get someone else to do that. And then, a week later, he's talking, he goes, I was thinking about what you said. You're really good at not doing what you don't want to do. And I am good at I am good at not doing what I don't want to do. I mean, administrative stuff like that, I don't do any of it. Do I have an accountant? Does an accountant cost me a lot of money? Yes, they do. Do I worry about it? Nope. Not in a single bit, not in the slightest way. I don't worry about it at all. And I don't have to deal with it. And my taxes are getting done. That's a crazy amount of work and effort. I don't do any of it. Logistics for my online store. Do I do it? I don't do any of that. I don't do any of that. I don't touch that stuff. So all the stuff I get to do what I like to do. The weird thing is, it is a lot, and it's challenging for people to do. It's challenging for people to do. It's challenging. My wife, she's like, I said, well, that's not. I said, she'll say like, well, what about this? And I'm like, oh, I'm not going to do that. And she says, you're not normal. And I said, okay, fair enough. She doesn't think I'm normal, and I think she's probably right.
I fear she may be right as well. Yeah. So what's the principle there that people could take away? Is it to try and outsource the things that you don't want to do, especially let's say that it's someone that's growing a business or that is beginning to get themselves to the stage where they have the resources to be able to do this, as quickly as possible give away the things that you don't like to do to people who can do them?
Yeah, and there's certain things that only you can do.
Yes.
Do you do those things?
Yes.
And let other people do things that other people can do. And look, I'm also, if you want to get straight business tactical, I tell people all the time, you keep things small and you let the demand signal increase and you grow as the demand signal increases. And
as opposed to what?
I don't jump in and say, oh, I don't like doing paperwork and I've got a business that I've had for 3 months, and so I'm going to hire someone as a CFO to run my accounting right now. No, I'm doing that stuff. I'm doing that stuff until we have enough income to comfortably say, yeah, we can get someone else to do this now. And I can then focus on what I'm good at. So I've done that with all my businesses. Start small and grow. As the demand signal is there, grow. And I've done things that didn't work. And luckily I didn't invest a bunch of time and effort into them because, hey, I'm going to be wrong a lot. And so just because I think something is cool doesn't mean other people are going to think it's cool. I happen to like some random thing, and some people might not, or a lot of people might not like it. So I'm not going to overly invest in something that people might not want at all.
Thinking about the stuff that you can afford to outsource and the things that you can't, I think a good heuristic is what you just said there. So what are the things that only you can do?
Yep.
Only you can do your podcast.
Only I can do my podcast.
Precisely. Yep. Only you can write your books, yep. etc. Another one that I learned the other day from Layla Hormozi is a lot of the time, let's say that someone's got a sales company selling software or IT or whatever. One of the first people that they'll bring on is a salesperson, and then they'll begin to do operations. And she said, well, hang on, that's the thing that brings the money in. That's the thing that gives fuel to the engine, which you're hoping will drive everything else. So I do think that there's another element that I learned from her, which is do not outsource the thing that drives the revenue. The thing that drives the revenue must be protected at all costs. And if that thing is you, and another element that links back to what you just said there, if that thing is your motivation, how can we protect the motivation? Well, my motivation is waning to do the thing, to write the book, to do the podcast, to give the speeches, whatever, because of the amount of administration. Okay, let's lean into that even more. That's the point of highest leverage for us.
Yep.
Get that blockage out of the way.
Yep. Yeah. And I have all kinds of people that do all the stuff that I'm either A, not good at, or B, don't want to do, which is beautiful. You know, it's a beautiful thing. That's decentralized command. It's the fourth law of combat leadership. You know, like, hey, what's going on we have 5 factories right now at Origin USA, right?
Where are they?
3 in Maine, 2 in North Carolina. So that's an incredible amount of logistics and I mean, just leadership that's going on inside those. And the technical aspect of weaving cloth and sewing and setting up lines for production, that's incredible amount of work and effort and knowledge that I don't have any expertise in whatsoever. Guess what? I have a team that does. I have people that are awesome. And so that's what's going on. Echelon Front, we have scores of clients and they need help in leadership. I can't teach them all. Guess what? I have a whole team of people that has their own experiences, and they're out there every single day teaching clients the leadership lessons that we know. Jocko Fuel, the same thing. You were asking me earlier, like, what goes into making these things? Oh, am I giving strategic guidance about what I want? 100%. Am I taste sampling? Which, by the way, there's a good example of something that didn't work. You know, the first, we made an energy drink. The first version of the energy drink was based on my taste buds. Well, my taste buds, since I don't drink a lot of sweets, the first version that we made was not very sweet at all. To me, it tasted like maple syrup practically, but I had to open my mind and get feedback, and people were like, no, actually this doesn't taste good. Okay, well then let's change it. We just changed every single flavor starting now, but that took trial and error of me saying, wait a second, I love the way this tastes, but 7 out of 10 people would think, yeah, it's okay. 3 out of 10 people would say this doesn't taste good at all. That's not a success. You got to have 10 out of 10 people say this freaking tastes delicious. And look, you got different flavors, and maybe 9 out of 10 love all the flavors, and there's one that, they don't like this one. But I've got to take that feedback and adjust to what I'm hearing. But that's an example of, hey, we went down this road of this certain flavor and a flavor system that was based on my taste, which is why I know that I have to open my mind and take other opinions and listen to what other people have to say. And now we've got tastes that are delicious and universally delicious. And so now we can kind of go hard in getting it out there, because before there's a risk of, hey, how many times are you going to get someone to try a drink? One time. If it tastes like junk, they're not getting it again. So now we've got tastes that are delicious, and now people, yep, try it. Now we can win on taste, which is awesome. We're already winning on efficacy and health, but you got to win on all fronts. So now we can win on taste too.
What's coming up next? What have you got for the rest of the year that's coming up that you're excited about or interested in?
Probably one of the biggest things is we've got a hunt line coming out from Origin. So we're making a full line of hunting clothing, hunting apparel, from the base layer all the way out to the outer jacket. So that's been a huge undertaking, and it's very aggressive. It was very aggressive.
What do you mean?
Trying to get that done in a short period of time was very aggressive. And the reason we were able to do it is because everything's in America. The reason we're able to do it is because we were able to literally make a design change and have it 15 minutes later for testing. You can't do that when you're working with an overseas company. It's impossible. It's at a minimum, if you're flying it, it's going to take 4 days, 4 or 5 days to get back. It's got to get in line. You don't control the line. It's a travesty. But we were able to, because we're all manufactured here, and the material that we're used is from here. So we don't even have to wait for some material to ship from overseas. Everything is 100% American made. So that was a huge undertaking. We're starting to get to that point where I think I'm getting my first set of the kit here in another week, and then it'll be going into production. So that's pretty cool. You know, we have an online training academy. So the leadership thing, again, you know, we talked about leadership being a skill. Just like you can't go to the gym in one time and get in shape, or you can't train jiu-jitsu one time and now you can defend yourself, or you can't pick up a guitar one time. It's the same thing with leadership. You can't just sit through one seminar or read one book and go, okay, cool, I've got it. I mean, imagine if you picked up a book on guitar and you read it and now you thought you were going to be able to play guitar, or you read a book about basketball and now, look, you would get the concepts down, you would understand what you're going to be working toward, but it's a legitimate skill that you have to employ in scenarios to get better at. And so in order to make that happen, and it was again a little bit of a blessing from COVID, we had created an online platform for a client that had 157,000 employees worldwide, and they wanted us to train all their employees. And so I said, hold on a minute, because that would have basically been the dedication of the entire team at Echelon Front to make that happen, traveling. And so we had created, before COVID, we had created an online training platform. And then as COVID hit, we immediately said, okay, looks like we're doing this stuff virtually. And what was beautiful was the entire world was made to do virtual interaction. Whether it was talking, I knew in Easter, I had Easter dinner with my parents via Skype call or Zoom call or whatever. And I said, yep, this is the norm now. Everyone's going to understand the capability, the benefits of being able to utilize video interaction. Because before COVID, it was rare. I mean, how many video calls did you do before COVID?
Apart from for the podcast, it was my input from that. Up until COVID, video podcasting was seen as a second-rate thing to do.
Right.
Don't get me wrong, I would much rather sit down, but especially as a fledgling creator coming up, I didn't have Joe Rogan money, right? So I couldn't have a nice studio or fly guests out or do whatever. So for me, that was how I was competing. Then everybody had to do it.
Yep.
You want to keep your show going? You want to keep publishing? Completely flattened the field.
Right.
Which meant that, what are we competing on now? Oh, we're competing on the quality of the conversation. We're not competing on how fancy the studio is.
Yep.
Well, that's interesting.
And so as that happened to you, and as it happened to every family in America that suddenly realized they were going to utilize, and they understood the technology now, because there's a technology barrier. So now at Echelon Front, we said, okay, great. Now we can train people on a much more regular basis. We can offer them. So we made extremeownership.com, which is an online training platform for leadership and for life. Because if you're...
So that's not just for corporate, that's also people can go do that themselves?
It's individuals. And it's individuals. This is the thing that, part of the thing that people need to understand is, if you're a human and you interact with other human beings, you're in a leadership position. It doesn't matter if you're a frontline worker and you're not in charge of any other people, but guess what? You're interacting with your peers. You're interacting, and you have to lead your boss. You have to be able to lead your boss. Your boss doesn't know what's happening in the field. Your boss doesn't know what time that concrete should be poured. Your boss doesn't know what time those forms need to be set up by. It doesn't know that. You have to lead your boss in that right direction. You have to lead your peers in the right direction. You have to lead your family in the right direction. You have to, even if you by leading your family, that means putting your ego in check and listening to what your kids have to say. So everybody's a leader, and once people understand that, there's so much they can get out of actually learning leadership skills. So that's been pretty cool on the Echelon Front side. So that's the Origin side, that's the Echelon Front side. The Jocko Fuel side, again, we rearranged these flavors. So that's been huge. And the rest of the supplement line is just making high quality stuff and not cutting corners. And we're look, in the beginning when you're doing that, it's hard, right? Because you think, well, wouldn't it be just easier if we did this? Couldn't we just cut this? Couldn't we use a little less of this protein that's more expensive?
This expensive type of sweetener,
right,
or whatever. Yeah.
And so you want to make those cuts early on, and we didn't. And look, quite frankly, when my name is on the freaking label, I can't just cut corners. But now people recognize that. They recognize that when they buy something from Jocko Fuel, it's as good as you can get. It's the best quality stuff that you can get. So that's starting to take hold, and so that's been great to see as well.